Okay, after reading this book, Peter Moss, Killer Spy, it talks about how this not Peter Moss, gosh, I know his name, Paul Ames is this kid who's about 25 now. I wonder how he thinks of his dad sitting in jail. Ames, Aldrich Ames, or otherwise known as Rich Ames. He he worked for the FBI, and then he started in his early 50s selling. He learned Russian, and then he started selling secrets to the Russians in the late 80s and early 90s, and he made millions. I think he made close to $2 million from various drops, and these are classic drops you'd find in the movies. There's a lot of ideas on the pages that I found interesting, just things that came up and ideas. So it's something to look at. Graymail, executioner's song, just little ideas. Let's see. Soviets shot down a jet in 1983. Oh, they thought that he looked like a mole. We got all kinds of pictures here. Well, actually not many at all. He's on YouTube, I guess. He talks about his stuff on YouTube. I haven't watched it yet. He got those two guys killed, one tortured, one riddled with bullets. This was his contact who he was selling secrets to. That's the Russian guy. And that's what's constantly going on at the KGB and the FBI and stuff. This is dropped. They called it the hole in messages with each other. They made a white mark on the mailbox to signal if they're going to do a drop or not. These are the guys that investigated him. Alright. They had to work for many months just to get that beyond a reasonable doubt conviction. They had a lot of circumstantial evidence, but they really were going for a drop. They wanted to catch him in the act of making the drop. His wife, who was very demanding, her mother was very demanding too for money and always asking for it, and she really cost him a lot of money. Okay, and that's partly what kept him motivated, but not entirely. There are habits that I find interesting that the FBI knows about the Russians. When the Russians do underhanded stuff, they love to use the mailbox, they said, and that was for marking when they're marking with a chalk when they're going to do the drop. There's also like a hangout in like Barbados or something that the Russians like to go to and meet with people that the FBI knows about. The FBI knows a lot about Russian habits, the Russian habits. Apparently Aldrich Ames turned in 20 U.S. spies in Russia, and also turned in Russian counter spies who were giving information to the U.S. They were also KGB. Now, page 67 refers to Snowden, and it's like, reading this with all the activity going on, these guys were selling information directly to the Russians. What Snowden did was different, a lot different. He gave the information away to the public in this cavalier attempt to make himself look maybe better and stuff, but really he sold secrets outright. Who's paying for him to sleep in Russia? The Russians. Okay, so he got money from the Russians. He got the freedom to not get prosecuted there, and then he got money to live there. So I mean, there was no drop with this guy. He just disclosed it on the internet publicly, and then later the Russians pay him. It's a different approach, but it's very similar to what a lot of spies have been doing. So it's an interesting deal. And Rick liked the thrill of selling secrets to the Russians, just like Snowden liked the thrill of selling of getting them secrets out there. Surveillance is about appearance. Yeah, you wanna look good. I went over trash covered another video. Surveillance is not a science; it's an art form. So you just can't quite ever get it right. It's like even being a doctor or something. Yeah, the FBI broke into Rick's house and bugged it. They bugged his phones. They knew everywhere he went. They trailed him. Yeah, they went through a lot. Very interesting. It wasn't a New York Times bestseller for '95 or anything, but it's very interesting. He didn't get away with it. He's sitting in jail. He got a lifetime sentence. He didn't get killed. He didn't get executed. They didn't even bring that up as an alternative, as a possibility. It was life or nothing. It was life, and that was it. No execution. So even though he's indirectly killed other spies, which they didn't even bring to the court. In fact, they probably had kind of a weak case anyway, so they didn't want to go for anything too major. Because they couldn't prove that he killed spies as an indirect consequence to him selling secrets to the Russians. But yeah, he is in his young 70s. His kid is in his 20s. His wife may still be alive in her 60s. And we're experiencing the fallout from that. But I mean, even more now with the Snowden stuff, we're experiencing the fallout of that. I mean, Snowden has a pretty much. I mean, as much as the Russians paid this guy in millions of dollars, you know, Snowden's got a payout too. Snowden's got retirement covered, okay, for what he did. Just like this guy. All right, it's just the Russians are a little bit weaker now. I don't know how they probably, yeah, Snowden's information probably isn't as valuable, but this one got spies like rerouted and killed and stuff. But yeah, interesting book.